Yes, people, welcome back to the mufcMPB channel. I'm very happy today because that awful Premier League season is over. We're doing a quick little review of our Premier League season and then getting into the exciting stuff. This is where channels like mufcMPB are the ones to follow for all your transfer news, all your manager merry-go-round business. We'll be getting into loads of it today and, of course, throughout the whole entire summer. So let's get into today's news. So it's official. It's our worst Premier League season ever. Manchester United finished 8th in the Premier League. No European football next season unless we beat Manchester City in the FA Cup final, and that would give us the Europa League, and of course to finish the season on 60 points and a goal difference of -1. Now last season we finished on 75 points, but of course we had a lot of injuries this season. 15 points worth of injuries, I'm not so sure. Not the greatest of Premier League seasons. Ten Hag's second season in charge. Obviously, huge turmoil this season. Brand new owners have come into the club, which is massive news. It's great that we're starting to actually sort things out above the manager, and that seems to be Sir Jim's big thing at the moment. As you look through the Premier League table, we finished level on points with Newcastle, but of course they had a superior 24 goal difference compared to ourselves, which is absolutely stinky. And even Chelsea winning their first 5 games of the season with a 63 goal difference. We had not a bad end to the season. 2 wins against obviously Brighton and whoever it was in midweek is completely... Honestly, after yesterday, I've turned off the Premier League now. I'm done with it. So I can't even remember who we played. Was it Newcastle? It was Newcastle, wasn't it? I'm completely done with this Premier League season. I really am. But 18 wins, 6 draws, 14 losses, the exact same as Newcastle. They had quite a lot of issues, the same as ourselves. I wouldn't quite say as bad as ourselves. We were definitely sort of there in terms of the worst hit with all the injuries, etc. In terms of goal scorers, Premier League top goal scorer was Erling Haaland, 27 goals. Cole Palmer actually coming in second and Isaac in third. Obviously, Højlund grabbing 2 goals to finish off the season, 1 against Newcastle, 1 against Brighton. He looks like he's getting back onto full fitness and form, which is fantastic. Assist-wise, Ollie Watkins finishing top on 13, Cole Palmer in second on 11, and Anthony Gordon on 10. Yellow cards, I'm surprised Casper isn't here. If it wasn't for so many injuries, he definitely would be. And red cards, Ollie McBurney and Reece James. But overall, not the greatest of Premier League seasons. In fact, our worst ever. I think winning against Man City is going to be very tough next week, of course. Are they on the party? I mean, from what Pep said, they've got the next 2 or 3 days off. I imagine we are certainly going to be training hard, but I don't know if we're going to be able to beat City. I don't know if it's a good thing to get Europa League or not. I think it's actually a competition which we would celebrate winning quite a lot. So I wouldn't mind winning the Europa League. I wouldn't mind being in it. Conference League, I'm so glad we're not playing in. That was painful yesterday when I thought Newcastle went 1-0 down thanks to an offside goal, which was eventually ruled out, and we were, I think, beating Brighton. I was like, not the Conference League, please. But thankfully, we have not got the Conference League. That's just no point in us playing. We're playing against teams like, I don't even know what they're called at this point. And then the Europa League, however, is a very good system. I'd like to be involved in that for the brand new league phase as well. So hopefully we'll be in the Europa League and hopefully we can beat Manchester City next week. But if not, a season outside of Europe, is it the worst thing in the world? Probably not, to be honest, for whatever manager does come in, or if we stay with Ten Hag, having, a full week to actually progress on tactics and really get into our system and our groove is exactly what we need. So if it's not the Europa League, it's also not the end of the world in terms of next season. So that's the Premier League wrap up. Thank God it's done. Let me know your comments down below on what you think of this Premier League season. I can't believe it's going to be great. But first of all, we have got some nice transfer news and hopefully something quite big here. A story from Fabrizio Romano about Michael OLISE. I'm sure they consider him as one of the players they would like to sign in the summer transfer window. But they know there is going to be a competition because OLISE is on the list of many clubs. Chelsea wanted him 1 year ago. Now there's interest also from other clubs, including Newcastle and Arsenal. So it's going to be busy for OLISE. Now, in terms of that list, I can imagine OLISE, Chelsea will be a difficult move. Obviously staying in London, which is nice. I'm not sure if he's motivated by that at all, but a lot of young wingers at that club. Is he going to get all the game time he wants? He's obviously pretty better than most of them, but I mean, Chelsea have got enough problems with their hands in the wing position. They don't need OLISE as well. I think we're a better proposition than Newcastle, even though they have got Europa Conference League. I think they'd rather not have it. And I think OLISE, to be honest, would rather come to us in terms of size of club. Of course, we are bigger. I reckon we'd probably offer similar money under the new regime. I don't imagine us offering crazy salaries. So I think we'll be similar to Newcastle in that respect. But if Arsenal going for OLISE, I can see his heads being swayed there. Obviously, just coming second, could he be the final piece to get them to winning the title? He is a fantastic player. Obviously, the prospect of Champions League football as well. I believe it's a release clause of £60 million. When you're comparing him to some of the players across the world based on FB Ref, he is the top 98th percentile in non-penalty goals, top 96th in shots total per 90, top 98th in assists per 90, top 1% in the world on expected XG, expected assisted goals, basically 0.42 a game. Imagine that with Highland. From the way he's been finishing this season, he's had no chances. He's like the fewest striker created chances in the Premier League. Someone that can actually create something for him would be fantastic. Non-penalty XG and expected assists in the top 97th percentile and top 93rd percentile in shot creating actions. In terms of defensively as well, he gets his body on the line, intercepts the ball, high press system. We love that. Successful take-ons, top 82nd percentile. Progressive carries, top 74% on progressive passes, top 77th percentile. Passes attempted, 85th percentile. We really will be getting a player that likes to progress the ball forward, that is looking for a striker to get on the older end of it. And you've seen someone like Jean-Philippe Mateta end on 16 goals this season, and since OLISE has been back from injury, he has been providing him the ball, and Mateta has been finishing. I imagine it would be the exact same for Rasmus. If you get OLISE in behind him or off the right instead of Anthony, the assist would be dreamy and would be absolutely fantastic. This signing makes so much sense, and I would love to get OLISE involved into the club. A massive, massive signing for make it happen. Obviously, a lot of people on his wanted list. Arsenal with Martinelli and Saka. Would he get more game time coming to United? I think so. Let me know what you think about Michael OLISE down below. I'd absolutely love it. I would be so happy to get him in. He cooked at the end of this season. Obviously, we've read this one about United being absolutely rubbish. We know that one. But in terms of our transfer business, we have Adrien Rabiot. Apparently, we are holding talks about signing him on a free transfer this summer. This is per court offside. I don't really mind a signing of Rabiot at all, to be honest. It's going to be a free agent signing, which isn't the worst thing in the world. We were linked with him last summer, and I believe it's his mum who was his agent. His agent drove a very hard bargain and wanted loads of money. If we get him on a cheap deal, and we've got the likes of potentially Eriksen, Casemiro, and Amrabat all leaving the club, I really don't mind getting Adrien Rabiot in. He's had a very good season over at Juventus this year. Isn't going to be renewing his contract, and again, would be a fantastic signing if we can get him on a good salary. We don't need paying 200 grand. This is why we're getting rid of players like Casemiro and Varane on £350,000 a week. We can't be doing the same. Once them two leave, we can't just go and bring someone else. We have to set a new standard, and getting Rabiot on at 100 to 150 grand a week, I don't think that's that bad at all. As a free signing would be a fantastic piece of business. When you compare him, OFB ref as well, to some of the players around the world, very good in terms of going forward. His progressive passes and carries are also fantastic. He likes to get forward with the ball. He likes to drive into the box, and I think he'd be fantastic to come into this United side. Sort of let Mainu sort of sit a tiny bit deeper, maybe have Rabiot, Mainu, Bruno's midfield free, maybe a little bit not defensive enough, maybe a rotation option with Mainu. Being able to get forward and get involved, a simply fantastic signing. I would like it a lot as a free signing. That would be absolutely brilliant. Now, breaking news from Bayern Munich and Ajax. Both Bayern Munich and Ajax believe Ten Hag will depart Manchester United at the end of the season, even if we win the FA Cup. This is per Mullock in the Mirror. Be interesting if this happens. I think I've seen a few polls recently. I've seen a few people talk about it. I don't think Ten Hag's going anywhere. I think there's about a 7... Well, I think obviously their mind is probably made up. If beating Manchester City in the FA Cup final was what it takes to keep him in his job, it's quite a fragile position to be in. If losing to Manchester City loses him his job, what is he expected to do? They have just won 4 Premier League titles in a row, are by far the best team in the world currently. If they're not in the Champions League final, they are the best team in the world currently. It hurts me to say it, but they just are. And I genuinely think if he wins it, it's a miracle, but I don't think it keeps him in his job. If they've decided he's going, they decided it based on the Premier League season. The fact he's got to the FA Cup final is fantastic, but similar to what happened with Louis van Gaal, if he gets sacked, it will be due to it being decided before the FA Cup rather than after it. I don't think there's anything that can be done about this game. It's a purely 50-50, well, not really a 50-50 chance, is it? We're probably going to get battered, but in terms of the managerial positions, there's not a lot he can do. If he out-tactics Pep, which he has done this season, and last season he's been very good against Pep, then, you know, it's great news. But it's interesting to see that both Bayern Munich and Ajax both think he'll depart. And obviously, they think he's had, well, they're on the rumours, he's had talks of both of them clubs, or at least his entourage has. They seem to have been in quite good communication with both clubs. Obviously, both clubs he has formerly managed in terms of Bayern Munich's B team, and obviously we signed him from Ajax. So Interesting that they both would be interested in having him at the club. Thomas Tuchel obviously has rejected the stance from Bayern Munich to come back to the club. So Bayern Munich are looking for a brand new manager. Is it going to be Roberto De Zerbi, or are they waiting for Erik ten Hag? Very, very interesting story coming out there from Mullock in the Mirror. Just in as well, but Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter are in the frame to replace ten Hag at Manchester United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will make a decision on the manager's future after the FA Cup final. I don't believe that's true. I believe that he's made his mind up. I believe that they know what they're going to do, whether he stays or goes, regardless of the final. I don't think it makes any difference. I don't think if he pulls out a tactical masterclass and beats City 2-1, it sort of makes up for the shocking performances this season against Palace, etc. I think, if they're going to stick with him, it's because they believe fixing the process above the manager is what it needs to be done, and they believe this manager is the guy for the job. If they're not going to stick with him, they made that mind up quite a while back, I think, probably a month or two ago. They knew that Ten Hag wasn't going to be the man to take them forward. But Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter, I imagine, are both being heavily linked with the club. Graham Potter, obviously, not the greatest spells over at Chelsea, but maybe is the guy that is interested in. We're looking to build maybe a bit of an English contingency with Jason Wilcox, Dan Ashworth, and Graham Potter would be an interesting trio. And Thomas Tuchel, for me, is the pick of the bunch out there. I would like to get Tuchel involved at United. I think it would be fantastic, but I know that's a controversial opinion. But I would like Tommy Tickles to be the new Manchester United manager, and it's interesting there, the story coming out that both of them are in the frame if Ten Hag does leave the club. From Mullock again, Erik ten Hag is looking for Jim Ratcliffe to show his commitment by offering him a brand new contract. Now, I think that's a little bit too far, but so far there have been no talks about an extension. United need to pay the Dutchman around 10 million in compensation if they sack him. There is also a possibility that Ten Hag will walk out to take a new challenge if Ratcliffe fails to give him the backing at the end of the season. I wouldn't be surprised by that either. If Bayern Munich and Ajax are both putting, offers on the table, and he thinks he's had enough of life in England, enough of life in the spotlight of Manchester United, it would not surprise me if someone like Bayern Munich offers him a good enough proposition and he leaves the club. I can't imagine he'd do it for Ajax, but Bayern Munich, I think it's no sort of surprised that it's maybe a bit of his dream to go back there after managing in the B team under Pep Guardiola. I'm sure he'd like his shot at retiring Bayern Munich back to the top of the Bundesliga, a big competition next season with Dortmund and Leverkusen, and back to winning a Champions League. I think it'll be good to see for him. I don't want him to be sacked. I'd like it to be a mutual thing and he leaves to go to another club. But that is what it is. I think he's in a decent enough position. I think it's interesting that clubs are interested in him regardless of how bad this season has been. So he should leave himself in good stead. Just a quick run through of the season. Obviously, this is the worst Premier League season of all time for Manchester United. No European next season unless we beat Manchester City, finishing down in 8th place, 38 games, 18 wins, 6 draws, 14 losses, 57 goals for, 58 against. Imagine there was a shots here against. I think we're 19th in shots faced this season, which is awful, but top 5 in goals conceded, I believe. I don't know if I can sort it by this. I can't, but it shows how good Onana has actually been this season. If you look here, even sort of Aston Villa conceded 61, Spurs 61, Chelsea 63, Newcastle 62, 58 conceded. Not bad, to be honest. We're sort of in the middle there of Liverpool and Villa, to be honest, which isn't too bad. So quite good in terms of goals conceded. Palace on 58 as well was quite interesting. Also on that -1 goal difference, we're basically Palace. How embarrassing is that? Absolutely shocking. Obviously, Michael Olise heavily on Manchester United's radar. I'm sure they consider him as one of the players they would like to sign this summer window, but they know there's going to be a lot of competition because Olise is on the list of many clubs. Chelsea, Newcastle, Arsenal, all interested in Olise. Who is surprised? Not me. And also the story on Adrien Rabiot, where Manchester United are holding talks about signing him on a free summer transfer this summer. Again, I don't mind it. Let me know your comments down below. What do you think about Olise? What do you think of Rabiot? What do you think about the managerial position currently? Do you think Ten Hag stays? Do you think it matters about the FA Cup final? And if you do not think Ten Hag stays, who comes in? Let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching this wonderful Monday content. Let's get in to the summer. Well, after next week, when we beat City in the final, then we get into the summer of fun. Thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time.